everyone, and welcome back to the Breakdown Tech. Today I'm going to be going over a $2,500 gaming PC build. This is going to be an incredible build that is going to be great for content production or just a high-end gaming system at 4K that will last for years to come. Now, I might eat these words, but it wouldn't surprise me if this system right here, 7 years from now, was still able to play brand new games at low settings at 4K. Now, right now, it's going to be able to max any and all games out there at 4K for the most part. There might be some really graphic intensive stuff out there that is not going to be able to max, but everything out there right now, this system is going to be able to crush, and it's only going to cost you $2,500. Also, this is going to be a great system for video editing, streaming, content production in general, anything like that. This system is going to crush it and kill it. But before we get on into it, be sure to check out our merchandise store for awesome tech, gaming, PC gaming, all types of stuff in regards to t-shirts, posters, things like that. Check it out at the first link down below that is shop.thebreakdown.xyz. Also, be sure to check out any and all of the links to the parts I mentioned in this video on Amazon in the description down below. If you go down there and buy through those links, it does help support the channel, so thank you very much for doing that in advance. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and get on in to this PC build. First off, let's start with the processor. We're going with an Intel Core i7-8700K. This is a 6-core CPU that is going to give us a great bang for our buck performance at this price range. The thing about gaming is it's not leaning on the processor too heavily, but even if in the coming years we see games using more and more processing power, this thing has 6 cores to keep up with it. It also has a 3.7 gigahertz base clock, meaning it's going to be running at a fast enough speed right out of the box. It's also overclockable, which is something we will be doing. So we're going to need a CPU cooler. And for that, we're going with the Corsair H100i V2 all-in-one liquid cooler. I personally love AIOs, and this is a great one. It's going to give you a 2-fan setup and be plenty of cooling for this CPU to be able to easily push it to a 4.5 gigahertz overclock without any problems. You can probably push it higher than that, but I'm confident in saying 4.5 gigahertz, no matter what, should be good and should be safe. Now, we're going to be needing a motherboard to put this CPU and the cooler on, so what are we going with? Well, I thought I want something with some LED lighting. Not necessarily RGB, but at least LED lighting. So we're going with an MSI Z370 Gaming Plus Full ATX motherboard with red LED lighting accents. This will light up the interior of your system and make it look pretty freaking awesome. No matter what case you go with, as long as you've got a side window on it, you'll be able to see your beautiful components inside because your motherboard will be lighting the system up, which is great. Also, this system has support for up to 64 gigabytes of RAM, which we're going to be using, more on that in a minute, and it has plenty of PCI and PCIe expansion slots if you want to add in more expansion cards, say like PCIe storage, or sound cards, Wi-Fi cards, video cards, things like that you want to add in. You can do that with the expansion slots on this motherboard. So overall, this is a great motherboard, and I think it will last for years to come without any issues. Now, I just hinted at us having 64 gigabytes of RAM, and I wasn't kidding. Even with RAM prices super high on a $2,500 build, you can still get 64 gigabytes of RAM in the form of 4 16 gigabyte sticks of DDR4 3200 megahertz memory for just $600. And I say just $600 kind of jokingly. That's like double what that much RAM probably would have cost you a year ago. But still, you can put this into this build at this price range, and this, I promise, will be more than enough RAM for years to come of content production, whether it's streaming or editing to Twitch, of gaming, of anything you want to do. This will be plenty of RAM for years to come. I don't see RAM, especially with prices being so high, being eaten up more and more over time. I think right now we're kind of stagnant with RAM until prices come down a bit. So because of that, 64 gigabytes, which is overkill currently, will be overkill for a while. Now, I think I forgot to mention what kind of DDR4 RAM we're going with here. I'm recommending the G.Skill Sniper X series of RAM. G.Skill is a very reputable brand when it comes to RAM. They've been known for reliability for years to come. They also, if you do happen to get a bad stick of RAM, are very easy to work with, and replacing it, they understand it happens. Occasionally things mess up. So great company there, and the fact that this is 3200 megahertz RAM means we're going to have plenty of speed as well. So overall, great RAM choice here. And just so you know, because RAM prices do fluctuate up and down so much, there may be other RAM options in the description. They'll all be DDR4 3200 megahertz options, but they'll be different priced compared to the G.Skill RAM I'm recommending here. Again, it's just because RAM prices are so fluctuating right now. I like to give people a few options of RAM. That way you guys can, you know, if you find a better deal on a different stick of RAM, you'll know it works if it's linked in the description below. Nevertheless, that's RAM. What about our hard storage? Well, obviously, with a $2,500 system, you expect an SSD. So we're going with a 1 terabyte Crucial MX500 SSD. This is going to be for everything, right? So this is going to be for your operating system, your games, anything like that, any and everything. It can go on this drive if you want it to. But if you're like me and have a 180 game Steam library and you like to keep everything downloaded, because I don't know why, I just have always done it, well, then you're going to need another hard drive. So I went ahead and threw in a 4 terabyte Western Digital Blue HDD, just solid, normal hard drive, right? Not an SSD. It's a 5200 RPM drive, so it's not the fastest out there, but it'll get the job done for storing your Steam library, storing any movies you might have downloaded, any TV show, things like that, music. Any big files can go on to this HDD, while all of your programs, things you want to access quickly, can go on the SSD, but you do have plenty of room over there because it is 1 terabyte. Speaking of ones, what? This doesn't make any sense. Nevertheless, we're putting a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 Ti in this thing, right? There's a 1 at the beginning. That's where that was going. Nevertheless, that's the graphics card we're going with. Top of the line right now from NVIDIA. Now, I know there's a lot of rumors that NVIDIA is going to be releasing new GPUs in August. The good thing about that is this will be a good GPU still after NVIDIA releases new graphics cards. It's like the 980 Ti, right? I still have that graphics card, and it performs any and all games at max settings at 4K still, right? No issues whatsoever. That's going to be the same for the 1080 Ti after the next generation of GPUs come out, so you don't really have to worry about that. Just look at it as a price decrease on this build. Now, that being said, when NVIDIA releases new GPUs, I'll be making a lot more build guides for those new GPUs, so, you know, you can check out those as well if you're watching this and the new GPUs are out. But the 1080 Ti paired with the i7-8700K produces just a 3% bottleneck, guys. Yeah, 3%. That's it. And because of that, there's no reason to go with a newer GPU or anything like that. This is the perfect combo, right? The bottleneck is within the margin of error here. So yeah, this is going to be a well-balanced system. And again, I think it's going to be a well-balanced system for years to come. Now, we've got our main parts out of the way, but we still need a case and we still need a power supply. So for our case, we're going with the Fractal Design Meshify C Dark case. This is a great case that will allow us to be able to see the beautiful system inside through a huge side window on it. It's also a more premium case. You're going to have great cable management, great just everything, like easy to work on, easy to see, easy to do everything in this case. And if you wanted to buy like some red or white LED lighting to go in this thing, you could easily do that and it would accent it very, very well. Overall though, it doesn't matter what case you use as long as it supports a full ATX motherboard, but this is the one I'm recommending for a big system like this. So we've got our case, and that's a very high quality case, but what about our power supply? Without a power supply, this whole thing doesn't work. You can technically go without a case, just sit it on your desk on a cardboard box and this system would run without a case, but it does need a power supply. So what kind of power supply am I going with? Well, as you guys know, I don't like to skimp here, and this system uses between like 490 and 520 watts, and when you're overclocking and your GPU's boosting and doing all that stuff, it's probably going to be using a whole heck of a lot more than that. So I didn't want to skimp here, so we're going with an EVGA 1000 watt Supernova G3 Gold Plus certified power supply. This is going to be a great power supply with plenty of room to power this system sustainably and again into the future. That has been the goal of this build. Sustainability for years to come. If you buy a $2,500 PC, you should not be upgrading next year. You probably shouldn't even be upgrading the year after that. You probably won't upgrade the year after that. This PC should last you 4 to 6 years depending on how much you like graphics, right? If you're willing to play games on low settings, this system probably will be able to play stuff 7 years from now. But if you want the medium settings at least, probably 5, 6 years from now, you'll have have to upgrade this system to be able to keep up with the modern games that are out there. Nevertheless, how much does it cost? Well, at the time I'm making this video, it cost $2,502.49. I do apologize. It is $2.49 over the $2,500 mark. When I made this list yesterday, it was just under, so prices went up just a bit there. But nevertheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And this is a build. If you said, Nick, you have to build a system right now for editing videos, streaming, basically gaming, an all-around system that will do everything, this is the build I would choose, just so you know. But nevertheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let me know other PC build guides I need to do in the comment section down below. Got stumbled on my words there, but yeah, comment down below any other PC build guides I need to do. My name is Nick. This has been The Breakdown Tech, and I'm out, guys. Peace.